Hey there, welcome to my podcast. My name's Ted, and this is called All Right, I Get It, which, if you've ever met me, you'd understand. So, a few people have been bugging me to do a podcast for a while now, and I had all the gear laying around, and I had some ideas about what I might like to do it about, but by popular request, this first episode's going to be about online dating, which is a world I've gotten into again recently. Long story short, I became single in mid-July, and, I was pretty bummed out about it. But it also happened during COVID and during a work trip. I was away to put up a building in Sudbury. So normally this, sort of situation would be like a depressive thing for me, and I really didn't want to get bogged down in that again. So I thought, all right, I'm going to get ahead of this, and I'm going to get my head right. And so I went out and I made myself make a profile and start talking to people and so on and so forth. And again, I don't know that I was ready for it, but I thought, this would be a good opportunity for me because I really can't go out and meet anybody right now anyways because of all the stuff that's going on. So I can just chat with people, and if it works, then great. And if it turns out to be horrible, I don't know any of them personally, so, it won't really have any effect on me. So, I started chatting right away. I noticed there were a lot of women out there operating for commercial purposes, which was interesting. I can't say that I've never seen somebody try and advertise for some sort of like product, service, etc. I think everybody's been hit up on their Facebook by like a cousin or, their ex's younger sibling trying to get them to buy whatever. But it was interesting to see on a dating site how many of them were, had wish lists of stuff where it's like, buy me this so that I'll talk to you. That's nuts. And, of course, then on top of that, you've got your, girls advertising for their OnlyFans. Cam girls are just straight up escorts. And it's really sad in a way to think that on a website designed to help people find romance and sell advertising space, that these people could, ever stoop to trying to associate romance with profit. But either way, you know what? That's them, and I'm just gonna do my thing and really just try and mind my own business on that one. So I got chatting with some people, and for those who aren't aware, for being a guy trying to do the online dating thing, it's kind of like trying to hand out resumes for a job. You hand out like 100, and maybe 5 of those companies call you, and then it turns out one of them's actually hiring, and that's where you go. So it's a similar play here. You try and find as many what you believe to be compatible people as possible and message them, and of them, about 5 of them are going to reply to you, but then 4 of them will immediately ghost you for reasons that you will never understand. And it might actually be about you, but it might not, and you'll never know. So don't let that get into you. Don't let the existential dread set in, people. But then you'll wind up chatting with like one person who then you'll meet, and hopefully first date goes well, and then maybe it doesn't. And if it doesn't, then you're like literally repeating the entire process over again. So, and some people find this to be difficult. Who knew? Anyways, so I started chatting with a girl, a few, most of which it never really went anywhere, but there was one girl where, we chatted, we hit it off, and it seemed like it might go in a good direction. I don't know that we were necessarily looking for the same things ideally, but, we had enough similarities. So we agreed, when I got back from my work trip, we'd go on a date, and we did, and it was nice, actually, in its own way. We were going to do, coffee and a walk through the park. Figured it'd be like a nice romantic thing. Except that the park was literally full of tweakers and goose shit. So we didn't stick around too long. We just chatted. What kind of books are you into? What kind of music are you into? That sort of thing. And then, we had a pint. And it was like a nice little date, better than I'd expected. And so at the end of the night, we exchanged phone numbers. We can't hug because of COVID, so we give an elbow bump. And that was the end of the date. And then, we continued chatting from there, and I was away for another 2 weeks, so I figured when I get back, we'd have another date and maybe do like dinner together, right? And who knows? But it never got that far because about 4 days into the next jaunt, I asked her how she was one morning, like, hi, how are you? How'd you sleep? That sort of thing. And she told me that she was feeling gross. And gross for me, I think of spills or messes, like I just dumped barbecue sauce down my shirt. Gross, right? I don't really know how to reply to what she said, so just as a joke, I said, all right, well, it wasn't me, right? And I left it at that, and I went to work. So 3.5 hours later, I go for coffee break, and she sent me a barrage of messages that started with, why would you think that I was saying that you made me feel gross? Like, what's up with that? To, like, explain yourself. To basically, like, how dare you ignore me? And then by the end of it, she was threatening to block me on both Kik, where we were chatting, and also on this website. So, all because I had the nerve to leave for work. What can I say? I don't think she's the one. So, whatever. Fine. Carrying on. And again, chatting with the next however many, right? And, again, most of them, it's an effort to have a conversation with. You're, using full sentences and describing yourself and really sort of trying to communicate, and their responses are, oh, good, or all right, or you ask them what they do, and they give like a one-word answer, and it's very clear that they want to chat with you, but using the minimum amount of words possible. If you're not familiar with the song Monosyllabic Girl by NoFX, it's a very, very good example. So, moving forward, still trying to chat, still trying to do the thing, and by this point I'm getting a lot of messages from women who are now soliciting me for their services. The commercial angle's back again. So, this is about the time I got the message from the girl saying, do you want to buy my nudes? I need my car fixed. And I said to her, like, why don't you just send them to the mechanic? It seems a little convoluted to involve me at this point. And of course, I got blocked because, I'm the asshole. Getting blocked, actually, that's another good point. That is a thing that happens a lot. And again, it will be for reasons you will never understand. I was chatting with a woman, and we had a nice rapport going. We were, conversing for a couple days. And she was telling me about her rec baseball game or whatever, which awesome that it was running, but kind of weird during COVID. But again, whatever, not my business. Anyways, her coworker / friend got hit in the face with a ball, and it was hard enough that it ripped the skin open. The stitches on the ball cut his face open. So I said that's kind of ironic because that's the opposite of what stitches are supposed to do. And she laughed, and again, we're getting on well. And then I thought of it, and I said, okay, has he ever heard of Stitches the Rapper? And I sent a link to Stitches the Rapper. Now, just for those who don't know, he's an awful, awful, awful gangster rapper out of Miami. And if you've never seen him, look up Molly Cyrus. But I'm warning you right now, it's very rapey. So, heads up. And yeah, I sent her a different song by Stitches, also bad, called Brick in Yo Face, which is effectively all about, cocaine and selling cocaine. But I thought it was awesome because it was about hitting people in the face with a brick of cocaine. But whatever, hitting people in the face, and of course his name is Stitches, so it was a good pun. She did not see any of that. Instantly blocked. Instantly. So, I don't know if maybe I have a talent for just saying the worst thing in a situation. I wouldn't be at all surprised, but that's... what can you do, right? So it continues. I keep getting, a couple messages a week that are from supposed escorts wanting me to... they're offering me free services if I just click on this link. So that's a phishing scam. They're looking to steal my identity. And I think, man, as a single dude, it's rough getting messaged by escorts being like, hey, buy my services so you won't feel as lonely. But it's worse getting targeted by identity thieves posing as escorts. That is an extra layer of low. At least the escorts are providing a service. And again, I really want to state, I don't have any moral or ethical opposition to escorting, prostitution, whatever you want to call it. What consenting adults do with their time and money is none of my concern. I mean, it's not for me. But I have to think, like, if you're pretending to be an escort so that you can rip people off, that is just, you got some life choices to reconsider at that point. You know, like, call your mom, get your shit together. So yeah, that's pretty much that theme. I'm gonna try and continue on with the next podcast, which I'm gonna do on something much more nerdy. But first, I kind of want to see how this is received. So, by all means, please, everybody let me know what you think, and please share your horrible dating stories, because I might do a round 2 of this, including, some feedback. So, cheers, everybody. Have a good night.